in the week yet? Because you wanted to do non-stick
No, I haven't. I've been too busy with teaching.
work.
Yeah. I tried to get him to do it earlier in the week, but he was like, "No, I'm being responsible."
Oh God!
Hey, to be fair, I was going to, and then you're like, my fiance got sick.
Well, yeah, that did happen.
So you're both being
She
responsible.
drank spoiled milk, so yeah.
Who drinks spoiled milk?
Not just drank, but chugged it.
Yeah,
she called me.
chugged
She's
the
like,
whole
"I just
thing.
chugged a glass of spoiled milk."
Yeah.
I was like, "Why
Don't
didn't you
you-
spit it out?"
Yeah.
Don't you
She
smell
was
that
like, "This
shit?
doesn't taste very good," and then I just drank the whole thing.
Yeah. I don't understand
Oh
that.
my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, that probably didn't end well.
Yeah, no, it didn't end well. She was like, "Oh, I'm so far I'm not
feel
feeling
that
that great," but and then the next day she was like, "So I left work early."
And then she was probably hurling all over the place.
Yeah, she said it's pretty bad.
That's about right. Trying to get rid of that stuff. That's
All
Alright,
exactly
let's
correct.
do this.
Yep. So,
Okay.
welcome, internet Twinstiq viewers and video game people
Everyone
who
else.
like stuff. Today we're going to be talking about a game called Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons.
You
Wow.
bastard. You bastard.
Well, we're going to give you a quick rundown on what the game is, the game's history, some rewards it's received and stuff, and then we'll talk about
The
our
game is
thoughts on it.
so crushing.
So
We're jumping ahead.
Brothers, for those who don't know, is an ambitious little indie game in the adventure genre, puzzle game. What would you guys classify it?
I would call it an action adventure.
Action.
Yeah. Platforming
I
action
feel like
adventure.
it's more puzzle based than it is an action game, though.
Yeah, there's more.
Well, that's
puzzles
why I said
than,
platformer.
Yeah, puzzle platformer. Sure, I'll go
Yeah.
with that. It's certainly in the fantasy genre, though, too. It goes.
I don't know. I don't know if I'd call it a platformer. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah. You
It's
just
just move, and then your
forward and you
characters jump for
automatically jump in. That's true. Yeah.
I'm
It's more of a
grateful for
puzzle
that,
game,
by the way,
I
because
guess.
I nearly fell off of places lots of times.
Yeah,
If it
right. You
weren't-
can't walk
if-
off edges. Thank God.
yeah, thank God, because
Oh,
sometimes
yeah, that's true.
because of the control scheme, I'd be like, everything's mixed up now,
Yeah.
and then thank God I
Yeah.
didn't fall
Yeah,
off.
there had been tons of games
But
that
we'll
have tried
talk
to
about
do
that.
the controlling two characters before, and this game, we'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about that.
The game
We'll
is
get
developed by Starbreeze Studios, which might be familiar to some of you. They made games such as The Chronicles of Riddick, which are great. The Darkness, which I've heard good things about. Syndicate 2012, which wasn't so great. But they also made
we don't talk about Syndicate 2012.
No, and they made Payday 2, which is still going pretty good right now. Brothers is a strange commodity in that it was directed by a Swedish filmmaker, Josef Fares, and he had never actually worked in the games industry before and has never made a single game, but he's the guy running the show of a small team within the game studio.
I hope he makes more games.
Yeah, I do too. This is a crazy ambitious first little project for someone who has both never stepped into the video game community before and was just like, I want to do this. I'm not sure how that collaboration came to be or who reached out to who. Nonetheless, it's a pretty unorthodox way to develop a video game. The game was released on Xbox Live Arcade on August 7th of 2013, and it wouldn't be released until the PC platform until the following month, where it slowly picked up an audience and grew to become quite successful, allowing them to develop the game for virtually every platform you can imagine, and the game is also available on retail shelves now as well. So you can go pick it up in a GameStop, which doesn't really happen for a lot of Xbox Live Arcade games. Not sure what its total sales figures are. They haven't released them, but thanks to Steam Spy, we at least know that it has sold over 1 million copies through Steam Store. The game received high praise from critics and gamers alike and was nominated for multiple awards in 2013, including its awards for that it won, actually, Best Xbox Game at the Spike Game Awards, which is kind of a big deal because that's a pretty mainstream game awards show.
Wow.
And it beat out games like Grand Theft Auto 5, Tomb Raider, and BioShock Infinite. They still voted it as the best Xbox game at the Spike
Which
Game
is
Awards.
good because it is.
It is better than those. I'd call BioShock Infinite probably the closest of all those, but I don't think any game does quite what this game does. But we'll talk about that later in the spoiler section.
So is this game not on GOG?
No.
Yeah, no, it's not.
It's not.
Which is
Okay.
why
I've noticed
It's
things since I joined Good Old Games. If it's still called that, GOG is fine. I don't care,
Yeah.
whatever. Since I've joined them, there are times when I can go to the search bar and not find a game in it, but it's actually in the store.
Oh.
Yeah, sometimes
so
that happens when things are coming up soon. You will not be able to find it, but if you do like just look at the store, you'll sometimes be able to dig it up there.
Okay.
That's how I found Armello, because it wasn't actually listed.
Yeah.
And it was in the coming soon bar.
Yeah,
And we won't talk about Armello.
Brothers, and I
Armello.
think a lot of Starbreeze games are published by 505 Games, and they're not too DRM free friendly. They don't
No,
put any games on
I
GOG.
actually have asked 505 if they'll put their stuff on GOG, and they're like, "What? Shrug. We don't know what that is." Goodbye.
Well, and they'll start learning. GOG's growing pretty big, pretty quickly, which is
No, I don't think they care. I really don't.
they'll care.
is one
Well,
of
they'll care when
publishers-
they need more money, and then
Yeah,
that'll happen.
well, maybe. I hope so.
Anyway, Brothers also won the BAFTA award for the most innovative game of 2013. So, guys, before we get into spoilers here and get into a really in-length discussion of the game, let's give a quick overview of what we thought of Brothers, and would you recommend it to anyone who has not played it yet and probably shouldn't be watching this video?
Yeah, I did like it. I'll go first, I guess. Nobody picked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I liked it a lot. I think it's really cool. I actually have some pros and cons here. I'll go ahead and go through mine real quick if anybody else has
go for it.
ideas. So pros first. Graphically, I thought it's quite nice looking. It's a very good looking game. I think it uses Unreal 3 engine.
Yes.
Or Unreal Engine 3, excuse me. And it's got a lot of like cool camera panning views and neat level design, and it's really cool. I like it. Runs very well. I didn't receive any stuttering with VSync on. I had a constant 60 frames a second. I never dropped at all. Not that I should in a game that's 3-4 years old now, but anyway. The story itself was actually really engaging. I liked it a lot. And what I thought was the most interesting about it is nobody actually says anything. It's all,
yeah, their language
there's no
is,
language.
is,
Yeah,
is a grunting
for a
language.
For a second, I thought, like, restarted I paused the game because I thought maybe I put it, like, it defaulted to some language.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. Yeah, I was like, no, this is English. Okay, fine.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, so I like that. And they had a lot of cool visual storytelling, and became very attached to the characters really easily. I like that. Highly emotional, whether that's a pro or a con, I don't know, but I think it's what they were going for, so I went for pro.
Yeah.
Be warned though, if that's not what you're looking for, don't buy this game because you will be crushed and devastated by the end of it. It's short; it's about 3 hours long, and I normally I don't like that. Normally, I think that's not a good thing. But again, as heavy as this story is, it's good that it's not very long. I think it works to its advantage to be in about 3 hours. The cons for me, it was kind of crashy. It crashed a couple times for me.
Never had that problem.
The only time I've had it crash is for some reason if you unplug your headphones, it doesn't detect that your audio device is switched, and so the game freezes.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure why that is, but that's
I just had it drop to desktop.
Oh wow!
Twice. It
out
just
of
went
nowhere?
away. Yeah.
Jeez.
No, luckily the game autosaves like really, really often.
Yeah.
So it wasn't an issue, except that it was annoying. And the controls take a bit to get used to. The two-stick controls. There's a reason for that, but I put it in a con because it was like really just an obnoxious way to learn to play, and also that you basically have to use a gamepad to play it.
Yeah.
A blind legend, you can learn a thing or two about the save system from this game. Please learn a thing or two about the save system from this game.
I'm sorry, did I miss something?
I would definitely recommend this, though. I think it's really good. It's not expensive. It's definitely worth playing. I have lots of thoughts, but we'll go into those as we get later into the discussion.
Yeah, we'll probably go through the beats of the story and talk about it as it goes along and whatnot.
Yeah.
Since it's not a very long game, be one of those times when we can do that. Who else wants to give their quick thoughts here before we tell people to go away unless they played the game?
Why don't you go next, old man?
Okay. So, do I like it? Yes, I like it a lot. would I recommend it? I absolutely would. If you haven't played it, you need to play this because it is. I mean, I didn't play it in 2013, but if I had played it then, it would have been one of the games of 2013 for me.
Yeah.
For this year, I don't play a lot of games, so I feel comfortable just throwing every game I play into a list at the end of the year and saying this is the best. This is going to be one of them.
Yeah, cool.
Awesome.
It's that good.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. George, would you recommend this game to people?
Absolutely, absolutely. But I will. It's that big warning of. I mean, it's very apparent when you play the game that it's based on emotion.
Yes, if you can't make it past the opening cutscene, just bail out. Just bail out.
Yeah,
yeah.
Watch that on YouTube. If you go, okay, that's gonna be too heavy for me. Don't bother with it.
So, with that being said, this is a very emotional game. I would be in the right mind place to play it. But with that being said, I absolutely adored this game. I do have some pros. I love this game. I thought it was very innovative in what it did. And we'll get more into that later because that kind of goes in the spoiler category, so I don't want to go there right now. But for me, just like Screw, I never really got the hang of the two-stick system because in my mind, the little brother should always be right behind his big brother, and oftentimes they would start to go in different directions because my mind is.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I don't know if you guys noticed at the start of the game, the default speeds for your brother and the older brother. Your older brother moves a little faster than the little brher. I'm pretty sure the older brother is called Maya, and Nia, I think they call the little brother. He moves
Naya.
Naya.
They're both
he moves a little faster, so you're always dragging behind the older brother a little bit. And there's some parts in the story that maybe make the older brother feel a little sad, so maybe he'll move a little slower than the. We'll get into that. I think they do a great job of turning stuff on its head like that a lot throughout the game.
There was stuff like that where it's very. You have to stop and you have to think. We'll get more into it later, but there's a section towards, I would say, the last part of the game where the two brothers are tied together, and there's this whole joint climbing, swinging thing. If you don't stop and think, you're gonna mess up. We'll get into that later.
You will mess up a lot on that section.
We'll get into that later because that is going into spoiler territory. But yeah, no, I would absolutely recommend this game to anyone. It's probably one of those games that I'll go back and play maybe once a year. It is really good. Just like Journey and stuff like that. And a while Aaron appears. But yeah, no, I totally recommend it. Good game.
Yeah. I obviously would recommend it as well since I had everyone here play it.
Really?
So.
Really? I couldn't tell.
But yeah, for all the same reasons you guys have said, I mean, the story alone, it's not. The story is predictable. I think that anyone could probably admit that it basically does what you think it's going to do, but the story is so immersive nonetheless that you just get caught up in the moment when certain things happen that once you finish the game you go, yeah, that was basically what I thought it was going to be, but it does it in a way that I haven't played in a game before, which leads me to say, if you have not yet played Brothers, please tune out now. Go play it. Come back and watch this after you've done it and see if you agree with any of our talking points.
Because we're going to get into spoilers right now.
Yeah. So the game starts pretty fucked up right off the bat. You start with a cutscene of Naya, and he's in a boat with his mother, and she falls over and drowns at sea. What the fuck?
But, I mean, that's the beauty of the game, because that event obviously shapes the whole game. And the one thing that I loved about the game so much was the way they implemented Naya's fear of water, his hydrophobia.
Yes.
The fact of and I want to get into more of this later, but there's hints throughout that obviously it's predictable. Naya's gonna have to get over all his little fears and
Yes.
gonna need his big brother.
We'll talk about the Tree of Life section when we
No.
get to
No. But what I'm saying is like just the fact that even if you get into shallow water where only his feet are, Naya freaks out and needs to cling to his brother. And I thought that was really cool. And it made the scene later in the game, once we get there, that much more like frustrating and impactful.
Yeah. I really thought that the little brother was going to be the main protagonist and be the only one with character throughout the whole game. But the whole village section, they do a really good job of showing you that these are their own characters by interacting with the world in different ways. Like you walk up to this guy sleeping at the drawbridge with the older brother, and he's like, "Oh, he won't wake up." And then you learn, okay, well, you have to interact with the little brother because his character, he just throws a bucket of water on his face.
Yeah, the little brother's kind of a dick. Like the little brother's kind of a dick. Like
he's
not
as
a
mature.
kid.
Yeah,
He's just
a kid.
tactless.
Yeah.
Like
He's just tactless.
he
he doesn't know how to be nice about it.
He throws that little girl's ball in the well, and I was just like, "Oh, you're kind of a dick." But
no, I didn't do that.
Yeah, there are a lot of interactions in that first village area that you can miss if you don't go find everything.
I became aware that you could grab the ball, but I thought that you had to put it through the hoop, so I was trying this for a while.
I shot Bassy with the older brother. That was it. I just thought there might be an achievement for it or something.
No, there was an achievement that in the list said like well, and like so little brother just threw it down the well. I'm like, oh, he's a dick. Okay.
Did you guys make the white rabbit feel at home?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
I also did that for the black sheep.
I did.
Yeah, I didn't even think about the sheep one until way after I was done with it.
There's an achievement. I got all the achievements my first go. They're very like not hard to do, but
okay.
It's a good way to build the world that these characters live in while still having an inconsequential to the story, but it still feels like something that could happen in that world.
Yeah.
Some
I want to talk
more
about
or less fucked up than others, but
I really liked the what are we gonna call them? Cave trolls.
Yes, cave trolls.
I love those.
That kind of brings us after the doctor says your dad's dying, need to go over here, and you meet a cave troll who helps you get across some cliffs, and he's like the coolest dude ever.
And then in return, you save his wife.
Yep.
Yeah. From a life of servitude and imprisonment.
Yeah, by other cave trolls, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
No, that's when I thought the game. So, was the wolves before or after that?
The wolves come after you.
After that, right?
You
Yeah.
leave the caves.
The wolves after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I thought the caves is like when the game really found its stride, and like the boss battle there with the cave troll was really cool. Because
there's the time you trap him in the cage, which I thought was fun. And I was like, oh, cool, that was a fun boss battle. That must be the end of that. And then you have to drop him down.
I'm going to go more with the second time, simply because, the older brother is the only one that can throw the switch, so the little brother has to throw himself in harm's way by by baiting him to destroy all the chains, and then I timed it and I threw the switch, and the troll fell, and then he was hanging on, and that's when I got a little bit confused because I didn't think the brothers would be strong enough to stomp on his hands, but apparently it was
let alone lift them.
So that didn't even occur to me until I accidentally had the little brother get close to one of the hands, and the troll moved it away and then brought it back. I'm like, oh, so I have to put brothers on each side and.
Okay, see, I didn't even do that. I just waited for him to drop because I didn't know you had to do that.
Oh, I didn't know that happens.
Yeah, I
Well,
ended up doing it, but only because nothing was happening. I guess I should have just waited a little bit longer because I didn't think the brothers were gonna want to kill him. I didn't get that from their feelings.
My take too. It was just like, well, this is kind of an unfortunate situation, and then they're like, oh well, he's trapped down there. We're not gonna let him back up because he's dangerous, but we're not gonna help him either. And I thought that you would just move naturally along, and then
he
eventually
just falls.
he just drops, and I was like, well, that's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? I like that more than the alternative of him getting up and the gate closing again and you having to do everything over again.
Yep.
So it's just, oh, well, okay, you didn't quite figure it out the same way other people do, but that'll give you something cool to talk about with your friends later. It's not, you have to keep doing this trial and error thing like you do in these games.
That's interesting. I didn't know he would just like drop on his own if I didn't do anything.
It takes a while.
Yeah, I did not know that either. I also
just gives in, and
I guess the game's just like, okay, you're gonna be a dick. We'll just move along.
This is I think my third. It could be my fourth time playing this game, and it's the first time I have accidentally not saved the guy who's trying to hang himself from the tree after you fend off all the wolves.
Oh my god, dude! Like I saw that coming because
I accidentally ran the brother up the tree, the big brother, and I was like, oh fuck! And I need to get him. I need to get down and go over. By the time the little brother got up, I didn't do anything anymore.
With that being said, I saw that out of the corner of your screen, and it's not until you like start to go down that path does he knock the chair away, and like I saw that my first instinct was because I always focus more on controlling the big brother because he has to take the lead in my mind. So like I had the big brother like rush over, and then he was like he shouts at his little brother to actually go up there.
Yeah. I led with the big brother this time, but I forgot that you're supposed to hold him, and so I just ran the big brother up the tree because that's what I
Did you guys go around and find the music box?
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
it took me a little
what
while to figure that out.
Yeah, so if after you save the guy, because then he's just like on the ground crying, and like I had a feeling like if I left, he would just do it again. So like, like I started exploring a bit, and then if you go around the tree,
especially because you don't actually take the rope off him until you get him the music box. He still has the rope on his neck. You just like leave him there. You're like, oh wow,
all right. That's super dark.
Yeah. So with that being said, you walk around the back of the tree and you shimmy along the cliff, and then you have to do a little platforming, and you get up inside the destroyed house, and in a ray of sunlight, there's a music box. And I had the big brother carry it back out to the outside, and you automatically drop it at the man's legs, and he picks it up and he plays it, and then the camera zooms over and you see the bodies of his wife and child, and they're covered in a red tarp, and then like time skips forward a bit, and the two brothers help him bury his wife and child.
Wow.
And
I didn't even know any of this.
They stand kind of in memorial.
Which is another great little thing of foreshadowing, which this game has a mockery of.
Oh yeah.
So much foreshadowing for so many moments in this game that you don't know until you're at that moment.
Halfway through. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to back up very quickly.
Absolutely.
I'm probably the only person who wasn't crazy about the boss battles because I didn't feel like they fit with the rest of the game.
I agree. I completely agree.
Yeah. It's a thing that suddenly now you playing a game, you know.
Yeah.
For most of it,
that's why I was disappointed when you had to drop the guy down the well because the capturing him in the cage thing I thought fit the theme of the game so well. That still felt like it could actually be within.
Right.
How did he even get out of that cage? That's what I want to know.
Well, you didn't put a lockback on it, so you probably opened it.
But I do agree. I felt like the second boss battle, while it was like cool to me, it wasn't really needed. I thought the when you first trap him in the cage felt very what the game was about. I thought the wolves were also really out of place, but not.
No, the wolves I can sort of see because the wolves it's night and dark, and they kind of sneak up on you, and I can understand that in that wolf.
Yeah, and it's still part of the little brother's arc where he can't do anything in that situation. He just has to be with his brother, which is thematic throughout the whole game, and I think that.
Yeah, no. Did either of you guys try to grab a torch with the little brother?
Yeah, he burns his hand.
He just burns his hand. Yeah.
Wow, I've never noticed that. That's awesome.
Because my first thought when the big brother was for me, I played the game like Big Brother do, like monkey see, monkey do. Like so,
Oh,
whenever
yeah.
the Big Brother tried to do something, I wanted the little brother to try to do it also. Um, and so I had him like try to pick up a torch in the next. So after the cave trolls, you get to this cemetery, and then you have to go through the cemetery, and then that's when you find the wolves, because they camp for the night to sleep. But with that being said, like, so the wolves was like kind of interesting, and I died a few times simply because of the way the dual stick work. The little brother would get too far away from the big brother at times, and
Oh yeah,
they would
I
capture
knew.
the.
Like implicitly, the minute he picked up the stick and he started waving it around, I knew that you couldn't let the little brother very far away from the big brother. It had to be in a cone of light.
Oh
Because
yeah,
the minute you let the big brother get too far, or
Yeah.
the little brother wanders outside of the cone of light, now you're screwed. And
yeah.
it's instant screwy. And I'll talk about that in a little while because that talks about the mechanics, but we'll get there.
Yeah, with that, I had the little brother die once simply because my brain wasn't processing the two sticks very well. And then I had the big brother swing too soon, and the wolf lunged after I swung.
Yeah, see, I never even had a wolf. I mean, I had them kind of creep up at me, but I never lost anyone there. I thought it was
Yeah, I never really had any trouble with that section.
it wasn't that easy. It
But
wasn't that
everyone's
much of a
gonna
problem for me.
have different issues with different
Right,
sections.
right. No, I'm not.
I
No,
I
I'm not
lost
talking
them.
down towards anybody. I just thought it was interesting because you guys are talking about how the wolves lunged at you, and I never had that even happen. They got close to me, but then I waved the stick and they ran away yelping, and that was it.
Okay, so I'm not an arcade guy. I'm very bad at that kind of thing. So they wake up and the big brother picks up the fire stick, and I was like, I wonder what that's for. And I blundered right into the wolf and got killed instantly.
That didn't happen to me. Mine was just poor timing because I was swinging as I walk, and I swung too soon, and I kept walking. And
Oh.
before I could recover from the swing, I walked right into the wolf, basically.
Yeah. So what I ended up doing was I would walk a little bit, and if a wolf was trying to approach me, I would swing the stick and it would run away, and then I would walk a little more and
Yeah, that's all I would
rinse,
do.
repeat.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, we could still talk a little bit more about some of the mechanics and how they work and stuff. I mean,
no. With that being said,
instance,
I
like,
want to
the
go.
game
I want to
needs-
go talk about the other because we were on boss battles. The thing, and I don't know if my game glitched, and I wanted to bring this up a little bit. Towards the end of the game, you are stalked by a giant invisible monster.
Yeah.
A yeti,
Yeah.
basically,
Big yeti,
like an
yeah.
invisible yeti.
Okay, is that okay? So it is invisible. My game was not.
It is
glitched.
invisible.
No, it's
No.
Okay.
invisible.
It is
It's
invisible.
100% invisible. Yeah.
Okay,
Um,
I felt like that was a little bit weird too, like having to freeze behind frozen snow people, dead people.
Yeah,
But you see, that's part of what I had a problem with. That felt very gamey again.
Yeah.
yeah.
I get why
see
they were
that.
doing it. They were hiding behind the frozen people so that the thing wouldn't see them. You know, these people are frozen. We're behind it. You can't see us. But it seemed gamey and it seemed bad.
Yeah,
There were maybe better ways to do that section.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
maybe
that-
have
that-
them hide
that
behind
and
a pile
running
of
away.
snow or something like
now
that.
I don't know if any of you got caught by the frozen.
Yes,
Yeah.
the thing.
Yeah.
That was
multiple
vicious.
times. Multiple.
that was
got caught
horrifying.
by it
I
because it
got-
was such a pain in the ass to run on that bridge and not because if you got hung up for half a second, it was over.
Yeah,
I
you
don't think
die.
I've ever
Yeah.
gotten caught by the invisible guy. What happened?
He like grabs one of the brothers by the back of the neck, shakes him, and then snaps their neck.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
Yeah.
he does that with the big brother. With the little brother, he grabs him by the leg and just throws him on the ground, just like slams him
great.
onto the ground.
Oh, okay. I only got the big brother caught, and the very first time that we were supposed to hide behind the things, I didn't realize.
Yes.
I guess that's like I got the little brother to hide, and then the big brother was like right next to the little brother because my thought was like keep him safe, like. And then the big brother was caught, and his neck was snapped, and it was horrifying, and it sounded horrifying.
That is savage and horrifying.
Ugh.
And
There's,
with
there's another moment like that we'll talk about a bit later where you're blundering around and suddenly it's just like blood and dead people. It's like, what?
Oh my
Yeah.
god!
Yeah.
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 With that being said, like I don't want to get too much into it because it's more storyline driven, but the final boss fight for me felt very video gamey.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I really hated it, not because of the story implications, just the mechanics of the final boss fight.
Yeah, that could have been a lot better. I 100%.
Because it felt like I was playing.
We'll get to that when we come to that.
Yeah, it felt like I was trying to play Monkey Ball with one hand and Zelda with the other.
Yeah.
Yeah,
a little bit.
that was exactly it.
And for me, that was very
I just
frustrating.
would
Like,
if the big brother was down, I would just only control the little brother, and then when she was knocked over, I would only control the big brother. I wouldn't bother with trimming.
oh, I did. Well, you can't do anything when the big brother is down, but when both of them are up, I was trying to control both of them. So
You have to run the big brother away.
yeah, so I don't know. I felt that was very video gamey. I felt some of the puzzles were very jarring, and mostly in that giant part.
Yes.
I was very
Yeah.
because I know that's what.
Let's continue walking through the game and where we're at, but let's talk a little bit about how the game controls and stuff, because that seems to be what we're getting caught up on. We were on the wolves, so we'll talk about the goats in a bit. Let's talk about how the game controls and some of the mechanics that it introduces to you in this first area here.
I want to talk about when you fall in the river.
Okay.
And at the end of the river, the little brother ends up on one side of the river, and the older brother ends up on the other side, and he ends up hanging on a root.
Oh yeah,
And
Oh, I hate that.
I just kept letting go of the root. I kept dropping it on 3 times.
I would let go of the root, or the little brother would be like swimming up and down. I'd be
Every time I play that section, I always think I failed when you get to the end of that section, because I think, oh my god, I must have gotten too close, because they grab the thing and just throw the little brother down.
Yeah.
So I go, oh my god, damn it! And I'm like, oh, wait,
That's what I
happens.
That's what I thought too, because I did it my first try. Although I felt like, again, that was a scene that was very video gamey and very, because at times the game feels very realistic. That felt very video gamey. Like,
Yeah, I agree. And
why wouldn't, like, because
Why wouldn't he just climb
off the cliff anyway?
Why wouldn't he just climb up the freaking thing to his big brother? Because that's what I
Yeah,
tried to do the first time.
especially when he first grabs it, because none of those possessed roots are around to hurt him.
Yeah,
so why not just pull him up?
Pull them all the way up and then just walk together. Yeah.
Yeah, like, so that made no sense to me.
Yeah,
so
that was.
hang on. Let's back up a minute, because we actually because we are talking about the controls and we're not really explaining the controls.
Yeah. So go for
for
it.
Brothers, what happens is that you have to play it with a controller. There is no other way to play it. And you have to play it with
Is there an
controller.
option for a mouse and keyboard?
Yes. It is
but
terrible.
it's super
It's terrible.
Okay.
You don't get to use your mouse. You get to use WASD and the arrow keys, and it does not have the same effect at all.
No.
Okay.
So for this game, you're going to want a controller that has 2 dual sticks, because the way it works is, and they have to be analog, and you want to control each brother with a different analog stick.
Yep.
You have to. You don't want to. You have to.
Yeah, you have to, because that's just the control input method. To do actions, you will use your bumper buttons, and then you can also control the scenic view by going left and right a little bit as well. Although that's implemented terribly, and we'll get to that in a minute. But basically, that's the control system. You have to control both of them at the same time with the one joystick.
Yep.
And what this leads to is
2 joysticks.
Overall, it's actually very simple, because
it is.
Yeah.
It's one stick and one button per hand.
Yeah. Your
But
left
doing that
your left
simultaneously.
stick is Maya. Your right
Yeah.
stick is.
But with that being said, there are parts that it wouldn't work for me. Like, you have to turn a gear together,
And that's cool.
but sometimes it just wouldn't work for me. Like, in the cave troll part, you have those things where you either have to turn it or push it.
Yes.
Yeah, I had
they
a couple
would keep-
instances like
they
that
would
too.
keep
I just had to
pushing
let
it
go
when
and
I
grab
wanted
a hold
to-
of it again.
When I wanted them to turn it.
Yeah.
Or, like, I was very, when you're in the start of the game, when you're trying to get your father to the healer, I I didn't realize that like both brothers had to turn that crank,
Yeah.
Oh,
and
yes.
I couldn't figure out how to turn the crank.
Yeah.
Like, because if you start turning one stick before you turn, you have to turn them both at the same time.
Yeah, I
same
just
time.
turned them
Otherwise,
both at
it
the same time. Just
So
rotate them.
Yeah.
to me, at times the controls would get really frustrating because it wasn't working for some reason.
There's also times where
There's a
what
lot
the
of times
game
where I think it's not
does-
working, and then I realize that my brain is the thing that's not working. Like
Yeah, I have a lot of those
with
issues,
the
too.
pushing things that you're talking about. The first
Yeah.
time I played it, I had a couple of problems where I would turn them both, try to go to the left, and it wouldn't work. And
Yes,
then I would go,
and you're
oh
not
wait,
supposed to do that.
I'm supposed to go down with the left brother and up with the right brother because that'll make me
Right.
turn left because that's how
Right.
physics works. And once I got that in my brain, no problems
It
from
was
there
fine.
on out. Yeah.
There are also times, but they're very rare, where the game doesn't actually tell you what it wants you to do. So,
Yeah.
like, for example, there's a section where we talked a little bit about this where the two brothers are tethered together by rope. And unfortunately, what it doesn't tell you is that you can swing. And it's not obvious. And I sat
Yeah,
there for
that's
5
true.
minutes going,
I thought it was
What?
obvious.
Yeah, I
No,
know.
it wasn't
I know,
obvious to me.
Yeah, I maybe I'm just bad, but I probably just fell with one of the brothers and was just like, oh, cool, I can swing.
But with that being said,
I
thought it was obvious that the little brother could swing. I at first didn't even want to try the big brother because I'm like, how the hell could the little brother hold
Brother
on?
support the big brother's weight, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, when I got to the castle section, I stood there for 5 minutes at the base of the thing going, I don't understand. And I had to look up a video, and this happened twice in the game. There was another section where you go into the lair of the giant professor, where it wasn't obvious that little brother had to sneak through the bars, because sometimes the game is not always good about... It's good about directing you. It
I
says,
think-
go
I think
this
it-
way.
Yeah.
I think it was because you have to sneak through the bars a few times early on, like when you release the dog from the
Yeah.
kennel,
I'll,
and when
I'll
you...
give you the swings because the swings are kind of the only mechanic that are introduced that late in the game, but everything else is introduced in the village in one way or
Yeah,
another.
very,
Right.
very early on. So
It was
I went,
apparent
like,
to me...
Cage, I think I can go through that and it worked. The swinging I found out on accident. Because
But
I had dropped with one character and he stopped moving, and I was like, "Well, what the hell do I do?" And I don't know. I tweaked a stick or something, and I noticed him move a
You
little
got
bit.
lucky.
So
I got stupid. So in the professor's house, it was obvious to me that you had to do something with a cage. But every time I moved the little brother up to the cage, he wouldn't sneak through the bars. So it's like, do I climb over it? Or what do I do? And then I
That's
got
weird.
stuck there for about 5 minutes. And then eventually I watched someone else's video, and he was like, oh, I'm going to sneak through here. And I was like, so am I. Thanks.
yeah, yeah.
I know. I got kind of caught too but mine was different. So it was in that same area of trying to free the griffin. So you get the little brother through the cage, and you have him climb and jump over to the
lever.
the lever, but he wasn't big enough to pull the lever completely down. And like I had swear I walked the big brother over by the little brother before, but I guess I wasn't directly under the little brother, so he wouldn't jump up to pull him down.
Yeah.
But like for me, I was frustrated there because like I even went in the chat and I'm like, okay, I'm stuck. And then like Cody's like, oh, you do this, and I'm like, I did do that. And then I did it. And then I actually got the big brother position right, and it worked.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I mean, I know a big part of the control scheme for you, Gray, comes kind of shortly after that. Oh no, before that, with the glider.
Mhm.
Oh, God, the glider.
I never had. See, I did the glider perfect my first time.
I think
For
I think the
some
first
way.
time I crashed into the tree, after you go through the cave, I crashed into the tree because I thought I was just going to go over it, but you just crash right into it. But
Yeah.
thankfully, it starts you right after you exit the cave. You don't have to start all the way from the beginning again, which is super nice.
Right.
But
I
I
didn't do that for me. I always had to start from the beginning. I
Oh,
always had
really?
to push the glider back off.
Oh,
But for me, the issue with the glider was its hitbox. It was the
Oh,
hitbox
yes.
was way
The hitbox
bigger than
was
the glider
terrible.
was. You had to
Yep.
be very, very, very accurate with
Very
the movements.
careful. And you had to be, like, straight in the middle and stay in the middle, because otherwise you die a lot.
see,
Yeah.
I'm always excited when I play this game because of the glider part. I think it's like one of the funnest parts.
Well,
of the game.
I liked it. I did.
I like the glider part. I just didn't like that.
My favorite
My
part.
favorite part of the glider though was the old guy.
It is.
Yeah.
It is one of the few times in the game where you mess up and that's it. You don't get to try again, kind of thing. Like,
Did you guys?
That's what I like about probably 80% of the game is that you can do something, mess up, and then go, okay, I'll try that again.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can
there's
generally, like if you're
there's
climbing
no reset point.
during the
With that
climbing, for
being
the most
said-
part, you can fall off and then try again. Aside from where you're actually hanging over edges.
Yeah.
But,
Speaking of the inventor part, so first thing I had a little frustrating with was getting the gear into place, because the way you throw the gear,
It's not
hilarious.
well managed.
yeah, it's horrible. Like you chuck that thing and it's
Yeah.
clearly heavy, and then like you can also chuck it to the little brother, who I would never assume could carry it. Like, because I mean, the
Yeah, I
big
think
brother
that's
looks
where you have to
ugly.
have some suspension of disbelief.
I feel like
because
suspension of
there's just-
disbelief is in a lot of this game because
Yeah.
there's griffins and trolls and invisible
Shut
giants.
up! Shut up! No, but with that being, but besides that, speaking of the inventor, who's probably my favorite side character in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Did you
There's
guys?
a lot you can do in
Okay.
his little shop.
Yeah, did you guys get him to dance a jig?
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
didn't get him to do that.
Yeah, you have to do the windmill like music device. But what's really fun is like when you go up to him with the little brother, they play rock paper scissors
Yes,
together,
I got them to do that. That was awesome.
and it was really cute. I like that.
Yeah.
And you can do it for as long as you want.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we're forgetting some of the best moments of the game, which is right before this, which is when you find the goats.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the-
This is amazing.
You know that
Also,
part
also,
initially.
we're forgetting
that scene was not long enough.
The
That part-
the music in that is not long enough. The music in this game is phenomenal, by the way. If you don't
Amazing,
have the soundtrack, it's $5. Go pick it up. It's excellent. It's
Or it's
excellent.
free on
Excellent.
Spotify.
Support the artist. Buy it.
Initially,
Buy it.
initially the mountain goat section kind of confused me because I was on the way, and I could see the little, the little goat pen down below me on the hill, but I didn't want to go there yet because there was this left
Yeah.
turn, and I was
Yeah.
like, "What is this? Looks like a secret. How do I get across it? There's no way to get across this." And eventually, I just gave up
Oh.
and went down to the mountain goats where they run across that path.
Right.
See, the first time I had gotten there, I was like, "Oh my god, goats! I have to play with them," which is what I was doing. And the whole time in the village, I was like, "Oh my god,
But you
bunnies!
guys-
I have to play with them."
You guys didn't feel guilty stealing the goats?
No.
Like,
Not really.
No, my dad's
Okay.
life is in danger. They can get new goats.
Yeah.
okay.
Pretty much.
Also, the goats
I-
can now be free.
Also, they're mountain goats. If they were thinking to hold them in place with a pen, they were.
Oh
out
yeah,
of luck.
yeah, they
that-
were very mistaken.
Fair
that
enough.
little
That's
that
true.
little pen wouldn't have helped at all because they just jump over. I mean,
Yeah,
did
they
you
just
see the
walk
size of
That's
the pen?
true. Yeah, why do we have to open the gate? God damn it.
Pretty much.
Fair enough.
But that was awesome. That
Another,
and-
another, another thing I think this game does well up to this point is there's a lot of moments where if you start like climbing up a hill or something like that, jumping from place to place, it will always make the older brother go on the left and Naya, the younger brother, go on the right, which ties into stuff later in the game. But that seems to be a theme going throughout, is that there's mechanics that obviously the little brother requires the older brother to do a lot of things and vice versa and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
A big mechanic that we haven't talked about at all, which we'll talk a little bit more about how it's spun on later, is obviously the water part, where the little brother cannot swim in the water without
no, he
his big brother.
refuses.
He has to hold on to him. That's a mechanic that's introduced pretty early
Now,
on.
if
and
you-
it's spun, and it's foreshadowed that it might get spit on during the part that Screw was talking about when they get separated in the river, because that's the first time really that the little brother is totally separated
Yeah, he's
from
he's
the big
forced
brother.
to hold himself above water for a little
With
while.
that being
Yeah.
said,
But
I
you
don't know
actually
'cause-
do it.
Yeah, so I don't know. I never tried to see what would happen, but in the beginning sections when you have to cling onto your big brother to swim, if you let go of your big brother, do you drown?
I don't know if
Or
you
does he
drown,
just
but
wade water?
You just wade water and freak out for a little bit, but I never leave
Okay.
him alone that long. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nor did I.
I never tried. I never let him go. Yeah, that's a good point.
'Cause
Yeah,
I did
I'm
have-
sadistic
I mean-
like that. I let him go.
Oh god, I didn't want to do that. The minute I saw that he was freaked out, I was like, well, every time we get to water, the big brother's gonna have to go first, and the little brother's gonna have to grab on, and that's gonna be that. Because
But
I'm
with that
not a
being
sadist.
said,
I'm not
is-
that guy who in The Sims 1 took put someone in the pool and then took the stairs away and then
Yeah.
waited.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy.
Oh,
But with that
I'm
being
the guy
said,
who'll
like-
delete all the fences in Jurassic Park Sim City and then watch it all just crumble.
With that being said,
Amazing.
like there is a lot of like stuff that I thought would happen earlier than it did. Like when you first during the introduction of the game, when you first get to the water with both brothers, the big brother turns the little brother and he's trying to tell him how to swim. Like he pats his arm and he shows him like how to swim. So I kind of thought like earlier on there would be a section like especially
I think he pats his
especially-
arm to say, "Hang on here, and I'll swim."
Yeah,
But then
that's
he
what
shows-
I got from that too.
Oh,
But
I got the
but
impression-
I'm with you, George, in the sense that when I first played it, I thought for sure there was going to be a section where we got separated, and I thought it was going to be that river part where I'd have to swim to the big brother, and for some reason he was stuck in a tree or something, and he couldn't come get me.
Yeah, I even thought maybe at one point the big brother may like let go of the little brother and it would have been a cute kind of moment like swim to me, you know, like
Yeah.
something like that, you know.
That could have been a good additional thing to have in the game. I think that would have been nice to see. Actually.
Because some of my favorite moments were so one of my favorite moments is the whale scene towards the end of the game. So I love whales, but like
I just want to mention that when I got to the whale section, I was terrified the whales were going to kill me, so I didn't interact with them at all.
Yeah, this was the first time at all that I even knew the whales were a danger. I've never had them kill me before, but I was just like cruising on the boat, and they just fell on me, and I died.
Yeah,
I was like,
one landed
"Oh."
on the boat simply because the boat was really hard to control. But with that being said, after you clear that whole area, after you save the turtles and whatnot, but you clear the whole area, if you go further than what you're supposed to before you cut the tree, there's a bench up there, and some of my favorite moments in the game is finding those benches that allow you to
Cool
look
little
at the
views.
scenes. But then the brothers sit next to each other, and it's a cute little moment. But if you go to that bench up in the snow area, and you're overlooking the frozen ocean lake thing, and both brothers sit down, they start giggling with each other, and then they do whale calls, and then all the whales will jump down below.
Yep.
And they just kind of sit back and they laugh and they have a moment. And
Did you
I
guys
love that.
sit at any of the benches? I think you get an achievement if you sit at all of them.
No, there is no achievement for that.
Yeah,
but
I thought for sure there would be too. I tried.
yeah,
to do
I
it as well.
sat
I
at
just-
every bench, but there is no achievement.
Well, sitting at every bench is still a worthwhile experience in itself. All
Oh
these
yeah,
things-
there is an achievement for sitting at the bench I just mentioned though, because
Right,
it's called whale call or something like that.
Well, that's awesome.
I'm going to step back a minute though and talk about releasing the Griffin.
Okay.
Yeah. Do
when you
that,
release-
because the baby griffin is the cutest fucking griffin in the
Yeah.
world.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I didn't know about the baby griffin until I read someone's walkthrough and spoilers. I was like, what? Oh no, I didn't do that, and I felt instantly terrible.
Yeah,
Aw.
Wait, what? I'm confused.
So at the beginning, when you are starting the game, there's a little baby griffin in a cage that you can free. Okay.
yeah,
And then when you get to the professor's house in chapter 4, when you free the elder griffin, the baby griffin has obviously been following you. And so when it sees its parent, it's like, oh, dunk, and then they're together for a while.
What?
Wait,
What are you
what?
talking about?
yeah. Yeah,
Are you
it happens-
smoking
it happens
crack?
pretty early on. You can climb up, and there's like a little. It seems like it's near the sheep thing,
Oh.
if I remember correctly.
Well, I
You
didn't
climb
know.
up, and there's a little
I
cage.
thought the thing in the giant's castle was a baby griffin.
Wait,
well,
wait,
sure,
are you
probably.
guys? Wait, I think you guys are confused because by the sheep there is a caged bird that you can release. You
Yes.
free the caged bird, and then you can see that caged bird later in the magnifying glass, or not the
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
telescope.
right in the telescope.
Mating.
Yes.
Oh,
That's
okay.
it.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, then there is no goose. Okay, I was very
So
confused.
maybe it's not. Wait, or whatever. Maybe it's not a griffin, but it does interact.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't.
Okay, no, yeah, I was like, what are you guys talking
Okay,
about? Because
so the
you
little
free
bird-
you feed the griffin, and then the griffin dies saving you guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well,
But then later on, another griffin comes and helps you.
I don't know if it's another
I don't
one or
think
if
it
it's the
dies.
same one. I think it
it's
just
the same-
collapsed.
I think
I
it's
think
the
it's
same
the
one.
same
I
griffin.
think it just got tired. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
it just
is that what
collapsed.
it is?
It gave
'Cause it
all
was-
it had. It collapsed.
It was
as far as
very
it could go.
bloody and like beaten up. I thought it died.
Yeah, I did initially, but
They're right.
I just thought it was.
Lovebird's achievement, part 1 and 4, chapter 1.
Yeah,
you
I
ride
got
the
that.
rabbits and sheep.
I got that, but you don't free a baby griffin. It's just a bird.
Okay.
Oh,
Caged
okay.
bird. Okay.
Well,
yeah,
I
I
mean-
got that one.
Remember, I'm the old fart and can't see.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
that's how I took it too, Gray. I mean, I didn't think it was necessary.
They're both bird types.
were-
It's the same
yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
really.
There you
So-
go.
Anyway, when you release the griffin and you fly, and there's this really awesome cutscene, and it helps to alleviate some of the heaviness
Yeah.
of some of the story. It's just like a
But
good
then it
feeling.
dies. Or I thought it died.
Well, I did too. I thought, oh man,
Because
this
then
is
you
really
could-
cool.
Well,
We
yeah.
freed the griffin, and-
When it happens, you totally think it dies because you're like, oh. It's not till later when it comes back that it's.
I didn't know it was the same griffin.
I just assumed
like-
it was.
yeah.
With
Yeah,
that being said, because like there's a feather on the ground that the little brother can pick up and carry with him for a while.
Yeah.
The big brother
Yeah,
picks it up. and
that's
has
actually the
cutscene.
scene I was talking about earlier when he picks up the feather and has the flashback about him and his father
Yeah.
fishing. After that happens, he walks slowly because he feels sad, and so now the older brother moves slower than the younger brother. I think
See, I had
it does a good
after-
job of having the story affect the mechanics, and we see that in games a lot, but they always seem kind of forced. Obviously, they kind of flip
Yeah.
it the other way around at the end of the game when the mechanics affect the story, but we'll talk about that when that happens.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you've seen something like that, like especially in the Arkham games, where it forces Batman to walk slow, or it turns him into his childhood self, and you have to walk slowly because you're remembering the death of your parents. That's always frustrated me. Here, like I didn't mind it.
Because it's in character and it's actually it's affecting because you've seen kind of why it's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a reason for it. It's
With
not
that
just
being
because
said,
but
like,
the reason isn't because they're slowly loading the next level of the game and it takes time to do that and they don't
Yeah,
want there
yeah.
to be a loading screen.
See, I made that scene more emotional than it had to be because I played it differently in my head. So after the flashback and the older brother's walking a little bit slower, you can still find the feather, and he dropped it on the ground. I had the little brother pick up the feather and follow the big brother, like trying to get like, you dropped this here, take it,
Aww.
like.
Fuck.
And then you get to the next scene, and the feather is disappeared. But like,
Yeah.
whatever. But I still like in my head. That's the way it was playing out. Was the little brother was like, "You dropped this here. Like, don't you want it to remember the griffin?" Like,
Yeah. I'm glad
Yeah.
Screw brought us to the Griffin because after the Griffin does fly you in your awesome cutscene over and presumably dies to the player, we come across one of the more disturbing areas in the game, which is the giant
dude.
battlefield.
yeah, the
And that
Giants
comes-
battlefield.
And that just comes out of nowhere. Because for
Yeah.
the most part,
It does and it
Brothers
doesn't.
is-
Because you
Brothers
were
is
just
sort
at a
of fairly-
castle where you realize, okay, so there are people who are giants in this
Yeah,
world.
there are giants here. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't expect to find a battle, and it feels to me like the battle just ended.
And
Like
just
'cause the
happened.
river's still
Yeah,
flowing
yeah.
red.
yeah, and
And-
there's still blood pouring out of giants' bodies.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, and there's a couple
They're
of
also giants, so
more
it might take a
gruesome-
longer time for
well,
them to
it's
bleed.
true.
just die.
but with that being said, like that part of the game was out of place and kind of jarring. I mean, you have to like.
I didn't feel that at
Yeah,
all. I like that.
don't,
area
I don't
a
think
lot.
it's out of place, and I really like that area. I think it's there were plenty of somber tones leading up to that. It just kind of comes in a nice pinnacle at that point where you go, okay, yeah, this has been a dangerous world. I've known that, and this is where it gets. This is
Yeah,
really dangerous.
shit got real.
And the world
Yeah.
is clearly much larger than I am, and I'm not sure if I'm a small person or if these are giants kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's certainly jarring when you have to do certain things to move along that area,
Oh god,
Yeah.
yeah. Yo.
such as fire arrows into giants to move their bodies,
Or
and
chop off a
chop
leg,
off
or
their leg, or
Oh,
push their
the
arm
chopping-
with an arrow in
The,
it.
the chopping off of a leg though was they didn't expect that would happen because they were just pushing the arm to make the whole lot go down.
Yeah,
And then
Yeah.
what incidentally happens is that the arm is holding a axe, and there's a leg that happens to be in the way,
Yeah.
and they just kind of accidentally cut it off, and they're like, "Oh God, that's not good."
Yeah. Did you?
Did you
Did either of you
have
guys read the brothers?
No.
Oh no, I didn't do that. I was gonna
Yeah,
ask if anybody
there's
had
a
read
scene-
up to the
there's-
swords.
There's a scene right after you come by a giant sword where like there is a giant foot like sticking out, and I actually like didn't realize it, but I had the little brother like sniff it at first.
Oh my!
And he starts to gag, and then I had the big brother, come over to smell it too. And I was just like, yeah, they're definitely bullies.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I did like the having them inspect the swords stuck in the ground though. They were like
Yeah.
knocking
Yeah, it's
on
right.
it and-
It's
That's
right
cool.
after the sword.
yeah.
Well,
No, I like that area a lot. And then immediately after that, where you
you have to pretend to be a god.
you're
It's fun
there's
to
some sort
be
of
a
deity.
That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
There's a lot of
now I
foreshadowing there
regret
too.
saving that. Yeah,
Well,
now I regret saving that bitch.
it's really obvious though when you learn that this game was directed by a Swedish filmmaker who's made plenty of films in his career. When you first rescue that girl, because the arc of her slowly becoming untrustworthy to the players is done so well over such a short period
Yes.
of time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's really, really well done. And
Yeah.
Or the fact that
strong
she-
writing tied in with good pacing of the game.
To me, it was really obvious when you have the two brothers climb over to get by the
Yes.
fence right before
That's the big changeover moment where you go,
Yeah.
uh-uh.
and then she does this whole giant like Superman leap over,
Yeah,
and
she
I'm
just
like,
jumps over it.
okay, yeah, something's
Not
weird
good.
here.
Yeah, but it starts with you saving her, and so you automatically care for this person, so you're more willing to trust her, and she starts to know her way around, and you're like, okay, you're kind of a badass. And then the first little thing she does is when you're climbing across a log, she scurries across it really quick and does like a little flip,
Right.
and you're like, oh, so she knows gymnastics. That's kind of cool. And then when she jumps across the
That
big
didn't even
wave-
register to me until you just said that.
And
But
then-
now that you did,
yeah,
I'm like,
and then
oh
the
yeah.
next part that happens is her jumping across the huge cabin, and you're like, if
That's
that
not
was
right.
a little closer, I could give it to you. But no. What?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's me. That's the part where I was like, okay, something's really wrong with her.
Yeah.
But it's also the fact every time you interacted, the older brother with her. Now I understand this. The older brother has hormones and he's probably horny, and like, but she is a little bit too like grabbing him, like pulling him close.
That only really happens after you defeat the ice giant, though.
That's
which
true.
makes sense.
No,
And
it happened.
Did it
To
happen?
me, it
earlier?
happened. Yeah,
It happened
well, for
right
me.
before the jump.
Oh, did it?
Right
yeah, it was
before
like-
the
it
jump,
was like-
she kind of grabs his shirt and kind of starts to pull him into a kiss, and the little brother's like,
Yeah, he interrupts. him.
"Hurry up!"
Come on.
You know, like, it's not until after you defeat Ice Invisible Yeti thingy, or
That's
I thought it was a
yeah,
bear,
but-
but like, that she starts kissing on him,
Yeah.
and then she opens the. So now we're getting into big spoilers. Then she opens the underground
She
cavern.
pulls out a giant boulder
Yeah.
that's like 4 times the size of her, and the little brother's like, dude,
That's
No.
not
Yeah.
But
At that point,
but again, like even after the first big jump, where you'd think they should go like, what's going on with this? She opens the gate to help you guys. She helps you guys get past the giant. So she's still helping you. So even though in the back of your mind you're like, I don't know, but
this is not right.
She is,
At first-
she is helping us though, and the clever thing about that whole part is that if she was the only person, only other threat there, you would question it a lot more. But because there's this giant
Right.
invisible thing
Yeah.
that you can't see
Yeah.
is terrifying, you're way more concerned about that than you are her, and so that lead up becomes I think it's
But
a
with
really
that-
clever situation they put you
With
in.
that being said, like me, like I wanted right off. I'm like, all right, Big Brother's gonna get some, Well, he
Oh no,
he
I
did.
didn't.
No.
Yeah, I never
did.
thought that.
They do a great little meta moment too when you first enter the cave, and you can see more than the brothers obviously can because they're in a small little crawl space, but the camera
Yes.
is
Oh, God.
showing you
That was
webbed
creepy.
up bodies right above them.
Yeah, yeah.
And they can't see
I
that,
see-
but you're like, well.
As soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh, we're going Lord of the Rings, aren't we?
Uh-huh.
Aren't we? And
Yeah,
we did.
and the whole lead up to all of this, the foreshadowing was when just before you rescue her from the post, there are cave paintings on the wall about this deity, whatever you want to call it, this demigod type thing with 4 arms fighting off giant spiders.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
I didn't see that.
the warrior tribe there had their reasons for sacrificing this.
For doing what?
Absolutely, yeah. They captured.
I
they
didn't see
captured
that.
the demigod. Like,
Yeah.
I did not see that at all.
Yeah, we were.
Did you
too
guys go
selfish.
into? Did you guys go into the other cave right before the ice ocean area? There's a cave that has a waterfall of blood, and if you go in there, there's more of the tribal people, and they're like dancing around a bonfire. There's an achievement
Oh.
for it.
That's cool.
And like,
I know
it's so funny
Is that
because like,
before or after the saving the turtles?
That is when you are going
You
down
first
to,
get
to
into the
free
boat.
the woman.
Okay.
That's when you're about to free the woman. Speaking of, and I want to bring this up because I was talking about the mechanics, and I was going to say that there were a couple of bad things. One of the things I hate about this game, and it's a very strong hate, and it's a problem with it, is that the camera feels terrible sometimes.
Really? 'Cause
Yes.
I think this game has one of the best cameras I can't control in any game with cameras I can't
Yeah,
control.
that's the problem. You can't control it. So when
but you
you're
can
going,
control it.
It's
Not
a
always.
suggestion.
not always. So when you're going, there's the section where you're at the giants and you're crossing the rivers, and there's one particular terrifying bit where you have to leap into basically what amounts to a river of blood, right?
Yeah.
And you can't actually see what's happening, right? Which for a while had me confused because I didn't know which way to keep going because I couldn't see. Because up until that point, the camera was okay. You can sort of twist and turn the camera, but you can't always. It does this thing that I've hated since Alone in the Dark, where what it will do is it will decide an arbitrary camera angle that the director thinks is really awesome, and
Which
where you
probably
can't tell
is,
what.
But yeah.
Yeah, but you
You're
can't tell
talking
what
about
you're
the moment
doing.
where you have to walk underneath the blood waterfall.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And-
That is one of the few parts where I'm like, what do I do here, kind of thing.
Yeah, and I
So-
had a problem with that. And there are little areas like that where it takes away control of the camera, and it makes it very difficult to see. The other thing that it does that I don't like is that because of but this is directly tied to the way the game is played, because you're controlling 2 brothers, you can never have them get too far away from each other. Otherwise, the game just freaks out and says, "Hey, you need to call your big brother or your little brother over."
Yeah.
And sometimes, and I got actually literally stuck once because I got them too far apart, and the screen wouldn't move enough in either direction, and I had to restart the checkpoint, and I hated that. But that's one of the very few things I don't like. So when you're walking around and you're doing all the stuff, sometimes it's problematic to control or to see what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
No, I totally get that.
I agree with
camera
that.
controls are a huge pet peeve of mine, which is why I had so many reservations about playing this game a few years back. Because I heard you control 2 characters at once. The problem with all games like that is that you don't get to control the camera,
Yeah.
and even if you do, it's
Yeah.
terrible. And this
Right.
game, I strangely have never had a single problem aside from that blood waterfall, which lasted maybe 10 seconds at the most.
So I have a question for you guys, simply because I'm curious, because I almost did it myself. Right before you save the woman and you have to stand on your brother's shoulders, did any of you guys do that without covering yourself in blood first?
No, I don't think you
Probably the
can
first
because
time I played
Can't
it.
because you have to go through.
you have to stand in the-
blood waterfall.
yeah, you have to stand in the second time you get covered in blood is the only place you can stand up to get on his shoulders. That's
No, because I actually. Okay, so there's. there's the mural that shows the
Here's how
like
you
what to
stand.
do. But and then next to that mural on either side is a blood waterfall.
Blood waterfalls.
But like you don't actually have to stand under those to get on your brother's shoulders. I made that mistake, but I didn't go through with it. I stood on my brother's shoulders and I started to go up the stairs to where the altar was. But with that being said, like then I noticed that the deity was covered in blood. And then I let go of my brother's shoulders and I got covered in blood. I was just wondering if anybody went up there without doing that, what would have happened?
No, because I couldn't make that happen. I mean, maybe I just wasn't positioned properly, but I couldn't do that until I was underneath those areas to be
okay. Maybe that's something I'll go try because I'm just curious.
Yeah, I am too now.
With that being said, can we move on to the last part of the game, the big spoiler?
We've basically talked throughout the whole parts. I think we've covered all the systems that the game does at this point. So
except for the spoilers at the end.
Yes. So you defeat the spider lady, and older brother Maya gets stabbed in the chest, basically, right in the diaphragm. Really,
I don't think it was. It was more like the stomach to me.
It is pretty high up
because it took him for a while to die. I mean.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and this is another place where the game does a great little foreshadowing moment. Right when after he gets stabbed and you have to walk the older brother a little bit forward, the left stick doesn't do anything. Won't move.
Yeah.
You can only move with the little brother. It's the first time that happens. The older brother's still alive at this point, but that brings us down. You fall through some stuff and you arrive at the Tree of Life, where your brother's like, I can't fucking move at all. You have to go get the Water of Life, and you climb up the tree. It's the super epic music playing, and you come back down, and Maya is passed away, and there's nothing you can do about it aside from cry heavily and dig his grave.
And have to bury him. Like they force you to
to bury him.
Did any of you guys, while you're walking around burying your brother, did you ever press the left trigger during that moment? During that period of time? If you do, the little brother holds his heart and bends down.
Oh god.
Oh
god.
Okay, now I missed that. I had to get up for a moment.
Did you
press the trigger during what moment?
When your brother first dies and they're having you drag his body and bury him and stuff, did you ever press the left trigger during that time?
No, I didn't.
If you do, the little brother puts his hand over his heart.
Like, bows and like kind of memorializes him.
Yeah, well, it's just kind of like his
something. Like a pain in the chest.
To me, it felt like something's not there. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's
I'm gonna admit to being heartless now. I didn't actually cry there until the Griffin showed up. And then the Griffin showed up.
That was where it got
the most happy tears in the world when the Griffin... Because you just... you spend like 5 minutes pushing fucking dirt over your brother.
So for me, okay, I am a very emotional person as it is. I have depression. I don't take medication because medication doesn't really help me. So like for me, I can watch even happy things and get very emotional. So for a game for me, like as soon as the older brother like told him basically just leave me here, you need to go finish. I knew.
Yeah, you knew what was coming.
With that being said, I thought like the little brother too, because as soon as he got back down, I'm like, you have the Tree of Life stuff, like, and he starts trying to like pour it in his brother's throat. Like, I thought that might have. But the whole scene, as soon as the older brother pushed him and was like, you know, you need to go up to the tree, I was sobbing until basically the game was over. With that being
said, when it didn't work, I thought for sure once you got back to your dad, it wasn't going to work either.
Well, that's the thing for me was when he poured it down his brother's throat. He threw. It shows him throwing like the thing away, like. Yeah. And I thought, well, then when the Griffin shows up, I'm like, you forgot to go get more stuff for your dad. So I thought by the time that he got back, he would realize.
I assume he's pretty small. He probably got that grave like halfway dug and got tired and had to go grab a drink of water up the tree. That's
I guess.
So I'm gonna
I'm-
go in. Oh, go ahead, Graham. Sorry.
Okay, this will be very quick. From the moment I started the game up, I actually thought it was going to be way more depressing, because I thought the ending was going to be they're going to get all the way to the tree, they're going to get all the way to the water of life, they're going to get all the way back, and then the father's going to be dead. And
Yeah,
that
which
was
is-
what
I
thought
thought
was
that
gonna happen.
too. And I thought
Um,
if any sibling was going to die in my head, I
They
thought
kept cutting back to the father throughout the game, though, and they do cut after, like, right when Maya gets stabbed. They cut to the father jumping
Yes.
out of bed, like
Yeah.
like
Something's
he's
wrong,
up.
yeah.
Like that's the first time you see him on his feet in the whole game.
Yeah.
With that being said, I thought if any brother was going to die, my first thought was it was actually going to be the little brother saving the older brother.
Right.
And that's what I was preparing myself to, because I thought the death of the older brother would be too obvious.
Yeah.
And even though it was
but it
obvious,
still like
Anyway, we need
It was
to
impactful.
start wrapping this up. So
okay, I just want to say really quick. So, okay. So, by the time you get off the Griffin, because the Griffin takes you back to your
okay.
home.
I'm gonna stop you because I've been trying
Okay.
to say this now for 20 minutes.
For a while.
Sure.
Yeah.
During the whole scene with the tree, I really appreciated, as soon as the brother died, that the younger brother didn't just walk away sad in a cutscene.
yeah.
I like the fact that you had to bury him. The game made you pay attention to that and gave you it added a lot of weight to it.
Yeah.
Like all the way through, there's a lot of testament to how strong the younger brother is, because there's a point where he nearly drowns, and right after he nearly drowns, I mean, he could be depressed and sad because he nearly drowned and we're not going to make it now and all that, but he doesn't. He just gets right up and he troops right on.
Yeah. He's like, I got shit to do. We gotta get this done.
Yeah.
You know, I'll worry about this.
I'm
later.
sorry.
No, that's okay. No, that's not what I meant. I wasn't. No, I was voicing the little brother. He's like, no, I
Yeah.
got shit to do. That wasn't in terms of you interrupting me. If that's how you took that, I didn't mean that.
No. I interrupted you talking about the whole.
Oh, right.
Little brother
No,
scenario.
that was great. That scene was excellent. And then
Yes.
something also that I noticed. I'm going to go back to mechanics being a part of the game. After the big brother dies and you go about playing, you habitually want to use 2 sticks.
Yeah.
Although there's nothing there, and that reminds you immediately.
I didn't.
That, oh yeah, I don't have them there.
I knew there's no big brother. You can't do anything with that stick.
Yeah.
Well, it ties back to what we were talking about earlier. They always force the little brother on the right side, and you when you get back to your home, you start having to platform through stuff. If you go to the right side, it's not high enough for you to jump over. You have to go to the left side.
Right. You've got to
jump
go to
up
the other
through
side.
stuff.
Yeah.
And that obviously leads to the big point of the game that we haven't even talked about yet, even though we only have like 10-15 minutes left to talk about anything, is when you get to the water. And there's a little cutscene where he freaks out, and his mother appears
Shows
to him
up
as
in
a
spirit form.
And you kind of think, okay, what does that mean? And you go up to the water, right trigger doesn't do anything. You only
no,
can
because
move
he
your
still
brother-
freaks
You
out.
can only move your brother with the right stick, but you hold that left trigger, that little piece of your brother,
Yeah.
for them that same mechanic that you used throughout the game for so many times. That mechanic is now an active participant in the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was really cool.
Whoa.
I like
'Cause
that a lot.
There's so
Yeah,
many
I
games
can-
where a mechanic is a result of something that happens in the story. There's never I've never played a game where something in a story, like a major plot point like that, is something that happened because of a game's mechanic. That is super impressive, Yosef.
Yeah, that's pretty
Like,
spectacular.
What the hell? How has this not been a thing in games for years at this point?
Yeah, right. Because this is something that can clearly be done.
And can only be done with a game. You cannot
Yeah.
make this a movie. You
Yeah.
cannot have that mechanic affect the story the same way you can in a game.
Right,
It is-
and along
it is
those
unique to our medium, and that's why I think this is amazing.
those same lines, and seeing the younger brother go through these things and this mechanic, I love the feeling of the fact that there's like this sort of passing of the torch moment.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because he's now, no matter how bad things were, no matter how negative it was, the younger brother is now strong enough inside to be able to handle this.
Yeah,
and at the very, very end, when his father breaks down, he stands there and consoles his father. He's like, "This is all right. It's gonna be fine."
That
And
to me,
that was
that
the best.
frustrated me. For some reason, the father breaking down really annoyed the shit out of me.
Why?
Why shoot it? He lost his wife and his son.
He probably feels like it's his fault too. I would totally cry.
Yeah.
I understand it, but for some reason, the only emotion I felt, not like, because by that point my tears had kind of dried, but like for me at that point, the only thing I felt was like anger and annoyance. Like
Okay.
it was because of you that we went through all this, you know. But it's like.
Well, yeah, I think that's probably why he breaks down. There's all this stuff. Like he's guilty. He feels guilty, and he lost his wife, and he lost his son, and
now
his younger son is the only person he's got left, and the only reason he's still around is because he saved his life. I mean, I get that. There's just like, there comes a point where the line snaps, and that was it. That's all he could take anymore.
Yeah, no, I get it. I don't know why I felt the way I did. I just did.
Well, like you said, though, you were done. You were done emotionally. That was it. It was time for.
You were
it was over sadness and time for anger, right? That was it.
Yeah. So
and how cool was it that the Griffin shows up at the end again? That was like it made me smile. That was
especially
just the
after burying your brother. It was like I needed something happy. Like
no, that was great. Now in my head, it wasn't the same Griffin, but I like it better that it was. Because that means the Griffin.
I only ever thought it was only the one Griffin because you only ever see the one Griffin. If there was a like nest, if there was like a cliffside nest with a bunch of Griffins, then maybe I could have saw it from that point of view.
Yeah.
But since you only introduced to one, it stayed in my mind that it must stand to reason that this is that same Griffin.
I guess for me, it just looked like the Griffin was in too bad shape. It was completely bloody. After it landed, it collapsed. I thought it was dead. I don't know. I like it better that your guys' reasoning of no.
I mean, I thought it died at that point too, but when it showed up, I was like, oh, cool, he's not dead. That's immediately.
Well, that's clearly the suggestion, but yeah, I think also that's the reason it comes back is to make you like there's a few moments of happiness here and there, right? Like the mountain goats, they're fun, and the trolls or the cave trolls, they're fun, and there's the whole scene of running from the dog. When you're back in the village, you run from the dog, and that's kind of a fun thing.
Yeah, and the little brother makes fun of him. It's fun.
Yeah.
And you get to make fun of the bully who's keeping you at bay all the time. Those moments, like even when you have to use the left trigger to jump up the cliff. To like do like a kickoff of it to grab it as the little brother at the end. It felt so good to have all of that just tie together so well.
This was a really fantastic game, and I'm glad I played it. Cool. Even though it emotionally just destroyed me for about a day.
Yeah, well, it'll do it.
I think now we need a roll for because we've gone on over an hour, so.
This is good because it's surprising that we've talked about Hammer Fight and we haven't been able to say a lot about Hammer Fight. We played that for 2 weeks.
Well, yeah, there's just not much to say about it.
Right, but the thing is that this little 4-hour game has given us so much to talk about. Is it awesome?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I could keep talking about it for another hour, and so next time we have a podcast, we might have to just suck it stick a bit more. But
yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
we are rolling for a new game. In the pot, we the moon.
We have two.
We have Mark of the Ninja, and we have Alan Wake.
Yes. I have them set here. Let me have it show up on the video. So Mark of the Ninja is if we roll a 1, Alan Wake is a 2, and To the Moon is a 3. So To the Moon!
Okay.
Oh, perfect. Okay, I have news for everybody. To the Moon is currently on sale on the Humble Bundle store for under $3.
Oh, awesome.
Buy it. It's amazing.
It is very under $3.
So I'm going to go buy it like right this second.
Okay, just know.
You're muting in and out, Griffin.
Yeah, you're muting in and out. We can't hear you.
Oh, okay. True Legend Killer, before we do this, you need to be aware that To the Moon is a super, super depressing game.
God damn it, you guys.
Like,
Mark of the Ninja is too, but I only plan on when we get to that. I only plan on playing up to level 5. We're not going to play through the whole thing.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Gray, what are we doing for the first week of To the Moon?
we'll just finish it because it's not very long.
Okay, perfect.
God, I hate you.
Yeah, I'm sorry in advance. But I mean, if you want to, you can skip
Doom
this out.
and Gloom
Don't
month.
play
That's
it.
all September is.
No, it's just with all that's going on in my life right now. Like, God damn it! All right.
Well, then don't play it. It is
No,
a
no,
depressing
no.
game.
It's
I'm warning
fine.
you
It's
up front.
fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So if you're a mess next week on Sunday, we're sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Well, with that, I think that brings us to our conclusion. I think we can all recommend Brothers. Thank you guys for playing it. I'm glad you liked it a bit more than Papers, Please. So, we will be playing To the Moon. Come join us next week, and we will talk about how sad it made us.
Yeah. We'll
Yeah.
see you
Thank
next
you,
week.
everybody. Have a good one.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.